The first question in the electronic part is points, lines, and planes. It is from the module 10.2. Here we have been given a figure and they have asked us how many planes are there. If you look carefully, planes are anything that has more than 3 points. An enclosed shape with more than 3 points. You can see this at the top, FED is a triangular plane. So this is a plane. You can see over here BEDC is also a plane. Now similarly, how many planes are there? Let's count. One at the top. You can see DEBC is second plane over here. At the left side it's FEAB, that's third plane. But if you look carefully behind, see the dotted line means it's behind. FDCA, behind is another plane which will be dotted. You know why? Because it's behind you. If you're looking standing over here, you cannot see it, but if you're standing over here, you can see it's behind over there. And then what about another plane, this plane W, the green color plane, and this one? See, whenever we overlap, we keep this object over the plane W, we don't consider ABC as a plane, we just consider the outer plane, that's B. So this inner plane, imagine now you're looking from here, exactly. You can see all this plane, and from here, if you just move a little bit over there, you can see the back side, this side, all these planes. The top also is visible. This is not visible. It's overlapped on the green plane. So we consider only the green plane. So plane W, then we have BCDE, ABEF, and ACDF. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 planes. So I'll just write the numbers 1, 2, 3. The behind one, dotted one, 4, and 5 planes must be there. So these are the planes. It's it's 5, and you can see it's plane W and the other 4 planes here. How many of the planes contain the point F and E? Where are F and E? It's over here, F, E. So how many planes contain them? This line must be there in the plane. It can be this plane, FED, or it can be ABFE. This is AFEB. No other planes, because imagine this plane, it contains only this point, not both. How many planes contain points? F and E, both must be there. It's only the 2 planes. None of the others can do it. So it's only 2, A, B, E, F, and D, F. Yeah. Name 4 points that are coplanar. Okay, coplanar, any plane with 4 points. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there will be 3 planes like that. We can't consider the top one and the bottom one because there are only 3 points. Whereas BCDE, ABEF, and ACDF, the one which is behind also, there are 3 planes which contain 4 points. Because we need 4, we can't consider these 3-pointed ones. Are points ABC coplanar? Let's see ABC, where is it? Oh yeah, because they are in the same plane, isn't it? They are in the plane W over here. ABC, yes, they are coplanar. Yes. And now here we have a figure. The roof and exterior walls of a house represent intersecting planes. Now the planes are intersecting. See, this is a roof, this is a wall. They're intersecting at different points. See over here, everywhere. Use this image. Name all the lines that are formed by intersecting planes. All the lines will be intersecting planes. Why? Because you can see BH will be intersecting. BC also will be intersecting with a wall behind which we cannot see. So we will consider, because they have told walls and roof of a house. It's not only these, we know that there will be a roof behind as well, that is AG, and there's no point mentioned over there, but there'll be one point over there, dotted line. And over here also there'll be a dotted line, right? So we are just, they're telling intersecting planes. So yes, this is intersecting, this, all of them. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 lines basically in this. So all of the lines are intersecting. You can say it's AB, AG, AH, and everything. If the surface of a lake represents a plane, okay, let's imagine this is a lake or something. This is a plane. What geometric term is represented by intersection of a fishing line on the lake surface? Now I need to draw 3D sort of thing. Imagine this is the lake and this is the fishing line. When it touches the plane, it's just a point, right? You can see, imagine this is a line falling, it'll be a point. The line will just be a point here. So you can see from the top, if you're watching it, it's just going to be a point on the plane. So basically, the fishing line will be just a point on the surface. On the surface of the lake, it'll just be a point. Doesn't matter it goes through, but it'll just be a point when it cuts the surface. That's the plane. So that's the answer. In this video, we will learn how to interpret the solutions of system of linear equations. Let's do this first. I'll come to the other equations later on. If you go to mode phi, you can see there are plenty of equations. The last one is cubic, this is quadratic, powers are there. We have to see the first or second. But here, we do not have z term, it's only two terms, so it is the first option. When we click on first option, they will allow us to type in the coefficients. Now, if you go back to mode phi, the first equation over here uses the standard form. If you write the standard form out, that is n is like this. We do not need to write n. I'll just write a x plus by equals c. N means 1, 1, 1. That is for the first equation. N for the second one is the second equation. So ignore that n. This is the standard form. Only equations in this form can be substituted. Now let's substitute this. It's already in the standard form. The coefficients are 4, then we have minus 6, and then we have 12. That's 1 and 2. And over here we have minus 2, 3, and minus 6. So the answer over here is infinite solution. But majority of your calculators will not give you this directly. If you have the latest model, yes, you get infinite solution. You can just tell over here the answer is infinite solutions. So it is consistent and dependent. But what if your calculator doesn't show you this and just gives a math error? Then in such cases, you need to simplify these equations. It's a very simple method. Look here. All you need to do is make these coefficients equal. It's just that this is 4. It's easier to multiply this minus 2 by minus 2 again. I will get positive 4, isn't it? It's easier to multiply rather than divide. I have to divide minus 2. It's fine. You can do anything. Let's solve it up. What I'll do is I'll leave this equation as it is and I'll just multiply minus 2 throughout the terms. I have to multiply here, here, and here. And let's see what happens. I will get 4x. Yes, this is matching. Now let's see the other things. It'll be minus 6y equals plus 12. Now compare these two equations. What is happening? They are literally the same, right? That means it's the same equation overlapping on each other. So it is infinite solutions and it is consistent. That is how we get these answers. Now the first one over here is not in the standard form, but don't worry. Just write it in terms of ax plus by equals c. So what I'll do is I'll take this to the other side. It will be negative half x plus y is equal to 0 and negative x plus y is equal to 2. Now you have to type these coefficient values in the calculator. It will be negative half. You can write 1 divided by 2, or you can write it as negative 0.5. It's fine. And 1 and 0, over here it's minus 1, 1, 2. The answers are minus 4 and minus 2. We are not looking for the answers, but we are getting a solution. So there is one solution and it is independent and consistent. Say it's one solution, one set x and y, that is a coordinate point you get. They'll intersect at one particular point, x and y, that is the solution we get over here. That means one solution, it is consistent and independent. Similarly, please do solve the other problems. But when it comes to no solution, let me solve this up. The same thing, you need to use your calculator. I've typed in all the coefficients and when I press equal to, I get no solution. But if your calculator is giving you a math error, that's fine. We have to use the same procedure what we did just a while ago for the infinite solutions. Try to make these two terms equal, the coefficients equal. So I'll just multiply this entire term by 2. It's going to be 4x plus 6y equals 20. Now compare these both equations. The first terms are same, the second terms are same, but it's only these numbers that are different. That means if I graph them, they are having two different y-intercepts. They have same slope but different y-intercept. They are parallel lines. That means they will never touch each other, so they are inconsistent and no solution. This is the reason. But if they are absolutely same, over here we got the same equations, then they have infinite solutions. They're consistent dependent. But you almost everything is same, but the numbers do not match, then there are no solution. Similarly, please do the other problems by yourselves, and here are the answers. The question is to solve systems of equations. We have just done the same thing in the previous question. If you're using the calculator method, all the questions can be solved in the same method. Let's take our calculators. You need to press mode 5 and 1. Let me choose the first question. All you need to do is put in the coefficients. Here there is no coefficient, it's just a minus sign. So that means it is minus and 1. Because if there's no terms, it's just 1. And then W is just 1, 7, 1, 1, and 1. The answer is minus 3 and 4. We have done this in the last video. Please watch that. Please watch the question number 8 video because all the different type of problems were done over there. Try these by yourselves in the calculator and then check for the answers. A detailed method is also given, but since you have the options, you do not need to go through these. And over here, all the answers are available. Now, if at all you get math error, that will be either no solution or infinite solution. And to know that, how exactly to understand, please refer the previous video. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. In this question, we will find the distance between 2 points. It's from the module 10.4. Here we have to find the distance between points given the number line. They have asked us to find JL. All you need to do is, where's the point J, where's the point L? You can count it out because it's in the electronic part. You can literally count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The answer is 5 here. Simple as that. You can also use the formula second point minus the first point. It will be minus 2 minus of minus 7. And the answer will be minus 2 plus 7. Sorry, not 5, 7. Now it will be 5. Or you can even choose any points. Use the magnitude symbol. Say I'm going to use minus 7 minus of minus 2. Then it's going to be minus 7 plus 2. The answer is minus 5. If you take the modulus, it will be positive answer itself. So you can even do that. Generally over here, they have taken modulus and second point minus the first point. You can choose any point as long as you use the modulus, or you can just count it out. Let's count out J and K. It's 1, 2, 3. KP, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And NP is just 2. If it's huge number line, then it's easier to do the problem. Say if it's from J to P, it's easier to do 7 minus of minus 7. It's going to be 7 plus 5 plus 7, that's 12. The distance between these 2 points are 12. So it's easier if it's too long, but if it's just nearby, you can just count it out. JP, oh, we just did it, 12. LN is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And JK is over here. This is a different number line. 1, 2, 3. LK is just 2. And FG is 3 here. And JG, you can just count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It doesn't matter if we go from G to J or J to G. It's the same. It'll be 2. It's 6 over here. It's 3, 3, 6. EH is given from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and LF is from here to here. So now at least let me use the actual method, which is to know what's the point. After this 8, 9, 10, and 11, it's 11 minus what is the point F? It's minus of minus 3. So here we will just add this, it'll be 14. because 11 minus of minus 3 will be 11 plus 3, that's 14. And similarly, we have two more. Ln here, it's 3 and 3, it's 6. JL from here, it's 3, 6, 7, 8. The question is to solve systems of equations. Here we will solve all these problems easily using calculator. All you need to do is press mod phi, and the first option gives you simultaneous equations to solve two equations. And press 1 over here, the first option. And now you need to put in the coefficient of x, then the coefficient of y, and then the constant term. If you press the mod phi and before pressing 1, you can see that the standard form is given. It is ax plus by plus c. That c is constant. A is the coefficient of x and b is the coefficient of y. So we'll press 1 and now just type the numbers before the x and y. There is nothing, so it's 1. If there is nothing, it's just 1. And even for y, it's 1. And the constant is the c term. It must be at the right side of equal to, that is 2. Same thing for the next one. It's minus 3, 4, and 15. And here you get the answer, minus 1 and 3. That's the answers. You can solve any problem over here. Let's do the sixth one. All you need to do is, if you're not in this mode already, press mod phi 1 and type in the coefficients 3. Don't forget the signs. It's minus 3 and minus 6. And then we have minus 5, 6, and lastly we have 12. And the answers are 0 and 2. That's how we solve them easily. Please do solve the others. If you want, the detailed explanation is also available over here. And please do solve these as well and then check the answers. So these are the answers. In this question, we will learn how to locate the points on a number line. It's from the module 10.5. Here you have been given a number line. It's from M to J. The question is to find coordinate point X such that the ratio of M to X and X to J is 3:1. Now what they're asking is, there's a point somewhere over here, but the distance from M to J will be 3 times more than that point to J. I'm not exactly sure where it is. There are different ways you can count the total distance, divide by 4 and 3 parts, 1 part and everything, but there's a very easy formula. Now just let's estimate. If this is the line, see this is somewhere half, so half of half, somewhere it must be over here or something. It might be 13, 14 or between that. It should be either 13 or 14 most probably. So this is estimate. But how do we know accurately where is the point? It's very simple by this formula here. See, x1 plus x2 divided by m plus n. Very simple, right? The first point plus first second point, m plus n. There is something we have to multiply here in the above. For the first one, it's not m, it is n. And for the second one, it is m. Please remember this. Sometimes students tend to write m times x1 plus n times x2, which will be wrong. Now let's substitute. What is n value? This is, see over here, the ratio is given as m is to n. The second value is n times x1 is the first point, second point is x2. Now how would you know which is first and second? Look here, m to x. So you start with m to x and then x to j. So first is m and then comes j. So first and second point. So here the first point is having a x1 value of 2. Second point is having x2 value of 18. So it's 1 times 2 plus 3 times 18 divided by 4. 1 plus, it'll be 2 plus 3 times 18, 16 minus 6, it's 54. Divided by 4. 56 by 4 is 15 minus 1, it's 14. Here the answer is 14. And see, we approximated it almost at 14. It was 13 or 14. So accurately, if you do, it'll be 14. So that's the answer. Now here, since it's the electronic part, just remember the formula and use your calculator directly. So we'll do the problems here directly in the calculator now. Here, this is the same formula. Let me write the formula again. It is n times x1 plus m times x2. You can put the bracket on, no, it's fine. M plus n, not x1 plus x2. It is m plus n. This is it. So here is use the fraction symbol. What is the first point? See, it's the same points, only the thing is ratio is changed. So you can either multiply this with the second one or this with whichever you do, it's fine. I'll write it according to the formula. N is 3. See, 2 is to 3 becomes m is to n. 3 times 2 plus 2 times 18 divided by 2 plus 3. The answer is 42 by 5. That is 8.4. You can see that's the final answer. Here they have given us a ratio of 1 is to 1, which is very simple because it's the midpoint. So whatever the distance here must be equal to over here, right? So you can easily find the midpoint. That is midpoint of 18 minus 2 divided by 2. It's going to be 16 by 2, 8. See, 8 is not the midpoint. You need to add 8 from here. So 10 is the answer. That's how we can find the midpoint. But this formula will easily give you the answer. You anyways know this formula, right? Let's just rearrange this. 1 times 2 plus 1 times 18 divided by 1 plus 1 will be 2. So here we go. The answer is 10. That's how we easily solve it up. Now we are moving to the ratios. I mean, that was the ratio which we did just now. This is the fractional distance. They have given a fraction. Here the formula is not the same. The formula changes. It's the first point, whichever point they mention first, x1 plus the ratio. A by b is the ratio here given. And here it is very important. It's second term. See, there'll be 2 points, b to d. So here b is x1, d is x2 minus. So this is it. Now what you do is you just put in the calculator here. So x1 is given as minus 5 plus, what's the ratio? 2 by 3. Multiply it with, press next and then use the bracket. Now it's all right. Multiply it with second x2, second term, that is 1 minus. Now use the bracket because we already have a minus in the formula. And x1 is also minus. This is minus 5. Close the bracket twice. And here we go. Answer is negative 1. Similarly, you can solve these problems. Very straightforward problems. Now look at the point. They have told C. Where is C? It's minus 4. So here it becomes minus 4. And the ratio is 1 by 5. So 1 is to 5. And what do we have here? Second point F is at 5. Minus and again minus of 4, and this should be the answer. It's negative 11 by 5 or 2.2, minus 2.2. Here as well they have told A and E, so it is minus 7 depending on the points. A is at E, the first point is A. This is very important. You must take the first point as x1. Then the ratio is 6 here, 1 by 6. And what do we have for E? It is 2. It's just 2 minus and minus 7. So it's again 5.5. That's the answer. And similarly, you can do these problems by yourselves. Please use the formula and the methods are already here. It's 2.6 here as well. Now here, don't forget the formula. It changes. We're back to the ratios. So use this formula. We have done it already. And here as well, it's 3 is to 2. That means 2 first. We have the n ratio, second ratio multiplied with x1 plus m x2 by m plus n. Only thing is you have to remember the formulas. 1 is to 1 means the midpoint. Now you're basically finding from C to x and x to e. C is the first point, minus 4. x2 will be e, that is 2. And let's do the last one here. Use the fractions. Second ratio, 3 times. What is the point? F is the first point. Now 5. Then we need to add it up with second ratio is 5. First ratio is 5 times. What is D1? Multiply it. And add the ratios, 5 plus 3. Let me write the formula here. It's nx1 plus mx2 divided by m plus n. So what is, you need to write it properly and then put in the calculator in your exams. Don't just directly do it. See, m, n. What is the first point? F is the first point. x1 is equal to 5. What is x2? D. Where is D? x2 is equal to 1. So now we substituted 3 times 1 is x1 is 5 plus m is 5 times 1 by 5 plus 3. This is it. This is why we have written according to the formula. We substituted it. The answer is 2.5. It'll be over here in between. Sorry, over here 2.5. That's the thing. Now here they have told f to d. Even if it's f to d or d to f, it's fine. It depends on which is told first. First is f, then we go to x, and then we go to d. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. In this video, we will learn how to find the distance between 2 points on the coordinate plane. Here we have a coordinate plane and the points are given. The x-axis is the first value always, x and y. The second one is the y value. Same way over here. Now, the distance can be found by using any point as the first point and the next as the second point. I can consider this as x1, y1, this as x2, y2, or the other way around. It doesn't matter because you're squaring it. Doesn't matter if it's negative, it will be made positive. The formula is important. The distance formula is given as square root of x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. Even over here, I can write it as x1 minus x2 the whole square. It doesn't make any difference. The answer will be the same. So since this is in the question number 4, it's just MCQ. So directly use it in the calculator and let's solve. Here I have just typed this as it is in the calculator. The x2 value over here is minus 1 minus x1 is just 5 the whole square plus minus 1 minus 7 the whole square. Use the brackets properly and the answer is 10. That's it. That will be your answer. You don't need to write anything in detail. Just put it in the calculator and solve it up. Now over here they have taken the x1 values as 5 and minus 1 as y1. And the other thing, they've just swapped this and still you get the same answer. See, x2 is 5 minus negative 1. Now please remember, use the brackets properly when the term is also negative. See, minus of minus 1 the whole square plus 7 minus of minus 1 the whole square. Just put in the calculator. Similarly, please do the other problems by yourselves. Just the formula is something you need to remember. The formula is square root x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. Remember, if you consider this as x1, the next term must be y1 as well. You can choose anyone as x1. Now, if I take this x1, this has to be y1. Then the other one will be x2, y2. And that's how we can solve them up. And over here, they have just given you coordinate points, which is still easier. There you have to just take x1, y1, x2, y2. Or you can take other way around, that's fine. Substitute, put it in the formula and solve the answers. So answers are very straightforward. In your question, generally they'll ask you to round off to a certain number, say nearest 10th. 10th means there'll be one digit after the decimal. If they have not mentioned that, then look into the options. Every option will be rounded off to the same digits. So choose the correct answer. This question is about midpoints and bisectors. It's from the module 10.7. Here we have been given two coordinate points. And then we have been told P is the midpoint of NQ. Okay, it's not directly finding the midpoint. Imagine NQ is a line, NQ. This is the second point. But P is the midpoint. It's in the middle. They have given us the values of N, that is 2, 0. P is also given 5, 2. We have to find what is Q, unknown. X2 and Y2, that is not known. So you can use the formula of midpoints. One way is, the midpoint is 5. So that will be equal to x value of these two. So 2 plus x divided by 2. The midpoint formula is given as x1 plus x2 by 2, isn't it? So just use the midpoint formula and you can find it. 5 times 2 is 10 is equal to 2 plus x. Take it to the other side. It's going to be 8 equals x. That's the normal way. And even the y can be solved the same way. I'll just quickly do for y. It's going to be y1 plus y2 by 2, isn't it? So we know it's 2 equals 0 plus y by 2. After this, I'll tell you a very easy shortcut method. That's 4 is y. So the answer is 8 comma 4. That's the answer. But instead of all that, you know it is n, q, and midpoint is p. Let's write what are the n values. X is 2, y is 0. What about p? Phi 2. We don't know what is q, isn't it? So let's count the difference of distance between these 2 points. X values first, do it separately. From 2 to phi, it's 3 units. 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 3 distance here. So this also must be 3 because phi is the midpoint. So add up 3. 5 plus 3 is 8. What about here? From 0 to 2, it's 2. From 2 to this, it should be 4 because you add up 2 to 4. So the point is 8 and 4. We got the same answer just a while ago as well. You can see the answer is 8, 4. What about this one? Here it's the same question, only the points are changed. So here n, q, and midpoint is p. Let me write the first point, 5, 4. The midpoint is 6, 3. And the final answer will be, from year to year it's 1. So from year to year also it should be 1. It's 7. And now look over here, it's minus 1. So just do say minus 1 here. It's going to be 2. 7, 2 will be the answer. You don't need to do any formula here. Answer is 7, 2. Yes, that's the answer. Let's move to the next problem. Look here, it's not n. The other endpoint is given. Doesn't matter. It's the same method again. Just that we have p here and we have q here. And then n. So we know q is 3, 9. Midpoint is minus 1, 5. This is unknown. So from year to year, midpoint, how much is decreased now? It has decreased. It's by minus 4, right? 3 minus 3 is 0 and then again minus 1. So minus 4. We have to subtract minus 1 again by minus 4. Again do minus 4 over here. It's going to be minus 5. If you find the midpoint of these both, you will get minus 1. Now what about this? It's minus 4 from 9 to, see, from left to right we were increasing. Now we are going back because this point is behind it. You can't add 4 to it. If you add 4, it's 9. So you have to subtract 4. It'll be 1. From here, it's minus 4. Both are minus 4 and minus 4. It's negative 5 and 1. That will be the answer. You can see that's minus 5 and 1. And the last question we have, they have told m is the midpoint here. And what we need to do is we need to find the value of y. So if ln's midpoint is m, then lm, this distance and this distance is equal. So we can write ny minus 4 is equal to 6y plus 5. We can easily solve it. 9y is bigger, so it remains, whereas 6y is smaller, moves to the other side, and minus 4 to the other side will be plus 4. And we have 3y is equal to 9, y is equal to 3. That's the answer. You can use calculator and solve it from the step 1, the first step only. Since it's the electronic exam, you can do it. 9, but the variable is x only, alpha x. You can't use y. Minus 4. As long as you remember y is the unknown, just use the variable as x. Equals, that is alpha and calc, 6x plus 5. Shift and solve this, then press equal to, the answer is 3. If you don't press equal to, you'll get the previously stored answer. The correct answer is 3. The answer is 3. In this video, we will see the two-dimensional representation of three-dimensional figures. Here, let's identify the solids. There are different types of solids. You can see this is called a triangular prism. Triangular prism Y. This is rectangular. It's just based on the shapes. If you look, this is triangle, this is rectangle, this is pentagon. That's why. And prism is something that has, it's like a cube. You know, you can see this box. There's, the above and the below matches, corresponds. Over here, there is one side, there's other side, and a triangle. Over here, there's pentagonal. All the sides are covered. It's a prism. Whereas a pyramid will have a base, but it doesn't have the same thing on the top as well. It'll be just a point at the top. It is, incline from that point, it becomes sides. This is called a pyramid. Now, pyramid's base matters. This is a triangular pyramid, rectangular pyramid, and a pentagonal pyramid. That is about the solids. Now, what about when they have given you a net, how to find the surface area? A net will be given, yes, it'll be in two-dimensional. When you open up the three-dimensional object, it'll become a two-dimensional, right? We need to know basic things like the perimeter and the areas of each. What is the area here? The vertical height, not the horizontal is the base. It's half times base into the vertical height, not the slanted height. That is the area. This is very important. The perimeter is just add up all the covering sides. Over here it's a square, it'll be 4 times sides. If you add up, it'll be perimeter, but the area is very simple, side times side. Any two sides multiply, but all the sides are same, right? So we can just make it power 2. So we call it squared. What about rectangle and the circle? Rectangle here, the opposite sides are equal. So this is W, this is L. So it will be 2L plus 2W. That's the width. Area is very simple. Multiply the two adjacent sides. Not the opposite sides. The corresponding or the adjacent sides are multiplied. Length times width. A circle has to do something with pi, isn't it? Because pi was found out from a circle itself, from the circumference especially. Now here we have two things. First, area. Area is pi and the radius times radius. When you square the radius, r squared. But the circumference, the outer skin, you can say, think of the skin of the circle is given as 2 pi times r, the radius, or 2 times r is diameter, so you can do pi and d. So it's pi d. And now let's look into the problem. They have asked us to identify the solid. Looking at this, I can see a triangle here, so it's a triangular prism. If over here there was a rectangle or a pentagon, then we should tell it's pentagonal or rectangular prism, depending on the shape. It's very simple here because it's a triangle. If you say merge it upwards, this upwards and this over here, and join them up together, you can see it will be a triangular prism here. We have to find the surface area. It's very easy to find. Multiply these both. Here also it's easy to find. This is also easy. But what about this one? What's the area of the triangle? We know the base is 16. But what is the vertical height? It's unknown, right? But we know this is 90 degrees, isn't it? What will be this side? We know the hypotenuse here is given as 10. But what is this side here? That is half of 16, that's 8. So let's use Pythagoras theorem and find this. So I'll consider it to be x. So what happens is the hypotenuse is the biggest side opposite to the 90 degrees. 10 squared will be equal to x squared plus 8 squared. You can just put this in the calculator and find it, but I'm just going to do it over here quickly. It's 100 minus 64, the square root, that is equal to x. It'll be 36. 36 square root is 6. So x is 6. So now I know this side is the height of the triangle is 6. So now I can easily find out the surface areas. Let me write the first one, second one, third one, fourth and fifth are same. So I'll do 4 into 2. The surface area of first plus second plus third plus fourth, and you can write this again fifth as well, the same thing. What is the surface area? That is area of the rectangle, not triangle, rectangle here. It's 10 times 20 plus, second one is 16 times 20 plus, again we have 10 or 20 times 10 plus half, base is 16 times height is 6. You just put it in the calculator, you will get the answer here. It is 10 times 20 plus 16 times 20 plus, again 20 times 10 or 10 times 20, it's the same thing, plus 0.5 times 16 times 6. Okay, this is not the correct answer. I forgot. I just realized when I was typing, I forgot to write times 2 here. This is times 2. Why? Because there are two triangles. That's not the correct answer here. You need to multiply it by 2. Now this will be the correct answer. It's 6816. You can see the height of the triangular section was 6. Yes, that was the same answer. And here we go, the final answer. So either you write this times 2 because the triangle has the same dimensions in both the sides, or you can do it times 2 or add it up again. Again, at the end, you should write plus 0.5 times 16 times times 6 here. So it's the same thing, 0.5 times 16 times 816 inch squares. That's done. So then now about platonic solids. Now these are some shapes you need to remember. These are the names of these platonic solids: tetrahedron, hexahedron, octahedron, dodecahedron, icosahedron. It all depends on the number of surfaces. You can see cube, it has 6 sides, isn't it? See, one is on the top, down is second one, right and left, third and fourth. The one which is facing back and front, 5 and 6, 6 sides, 6 faces. That's the exact term. Here, what about these 4 equilateral triangles? One, two, there's one behind and down. So it's tetra, 4. Tetrahedron, hexa is for 6. Octahedron, you can see there'll be 8 equilateral triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 5. 4 are on the top, the same thing down. Middle, there is nothing. So this is called octahedron, dodecahedron, icosahedron. In your exam, you just have to select the correct answer, so it'll be very easy. Look at this. Identify this platonic solid. Count how many equilateral triangles are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 4 5s are 20. So it's icosahedron. We just now saw 20 equilateral triangles. Make it icosahedron. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. Here we will study about three-dimensional figures. We will study how to find their surface area and volume. We have prism, pyramid, cylinder, cone and sphere. It is very important to remember these formulas, and I'll try my best to simplify as much as possible. You need to know what type of prism it is, whether it's a rectangular prism or a triangular prism. Here we can see it's rectangular. So this P is the perimeter of the base. This base is there, right? That perimeter, it will be length into breadth, length into width, or length into breadth. What about this B value? That is the area of this base. The same base, the area. Imagine we had here 2 and over here 6. Then the P value would be perimeter, that is 2 times L plus 2 times W, that is 2 times 6 plus 2 times 2. The answer would be 12 plus 4. 16 is the P value. And what about the B value? That's the area. You just multiply these both. 6 times 12, 6 times 2 is equal to 12. That is the B value. P and B value. This is how you find it out. What about the H? H is the height that will be given to you. Volume over here is the area of the base times the height. Now, if you remember this, then the pyramid is similar. Look here. Just divide both the sides by half, because here the base is the similar one, but as it goes up, it reduces its area. So you divide it by 2 on both the sides. So it'll be, here it is not about the height because it's the slanted length, right? That is into consideration. The slant L is the length, this length. One of the length will be given to you. But very important thing, it must be 90 degrees with the base. See, this base, this length, right, is 90 degrees with the base. What about P? P is the same thing. It will be the perimeter of the base. Here it is a rectangular or square base. Depending on the shape, you have to find the perimeter. B will be the area of the base. About volume, just divide by 3 here. So it's 1/3 of base into height. Prism and pyramid are similar to each other. Now, similarly, the cone and cylinder are similar to each other. You can see it's having the same circle, but this is going down. Over here, it's flat. So cylinder and prism are similar. They have same base up and down. whereas cone and pyramid do not have the same base. Here as well, you will just divide this by thirds. The volume, whatever you have with the cylinder, you're dividing by 3. And what about this? You're dividing by 2 above. Now, first, let's see what is cylinder. Pi is involved because circle is there. How do you remember this is? See, this first part, 2 pi RH, is of the cylinder over here, this entire length. So 2 pi r, 2 pi r is the circumference right over here, and multiply by the height is all these cross sections are included. So that's the surface area of this entire thing. Okay, sorry, not all the cross sections, that will be the area. All this is included. That is just the first part. Then here, pi r squared, we need the surface area, we need the upper cover and the bottom cover. It's a circle, so it's pi r square area, right? But there is up and down, so it's 2 pi r squared. That's why we have this part. What about the volume? What is the area here? Pi r squared multiplied by the height. You get all the cross sections throughout the cylinder, however long it is. So that's how we have the volume pi r squared h and 2 pi r h plus pi r square is the surface area. Here you just divide this by 2 and 2, you get pi r l. Now remember, here it's not the height, not the vertical height, it's the L value we deal with. And then pi r square, 2 is gone. Same thing here, 1/3. And lastly, the sphere. If you remember the surface area, it's 4 pi r squared. Okay, 4 pi r squared. The volume will be this divided by 3 multiplied by r. So 1 r is extra, it will be pi r cubed. See, volume is always cubed, right? So we have r cubed. Over here, sphere is, surface area is area squared, centimeter. Imagine it was centimeter, it will be centimeter squared. Here it will be centimeter cubed. So r squared, r cubed. What about this? It's 4 pi for sphere, the surface area, whereas volume it's 4 by 3 pi. So this is how we can understand the formulas. Here we have a problem. Now look at this. What sort of a shape is this? If you go back, it's the first shape. It's a prism, but this is what sort of a prism? Is it rectangle or square? No, it is a triangular prism because clearly it's mentioned triangle, but they have not aligned it properly. Actually, this must be the base, then it's elongated, and then there must be one more, this base. Okay, it should be 3D, which is, I'm very bad at drawing that, but I hope you understood. This part, this part must be over here flat on the ground, and then it must be erected upwards. So this is the base, this is the top, or this can be the base and that's the top. Now remember the perimeter, the P. Perimeter is not of the square or rectangle, it's of the triangle here. So let's find the perimeter of this triangle. This side, this side. What about this hypotenuse? It's given over here 4. So you just add it up. 2.4 plus 3.2 plus 4. That's the answer. It's 7, 8, 9, 9.6 centimeters. What about the base? Base is the area, not A, it's B. Base over here is the area of this part, this triangle. Half base into height is given as 2.4 times 3.2. So you just, you can just put in the calculator and solve it. There are decimals over here. Now, what is the surface area? Surface area is given as PH. Now, remember, there is no divided by 2. This is for the prism. If it was pyramid, we divide this by 2. It's only PH plus 2 times B. Whereas if it was the pyramid, it's only B, but here it's twice B. You have to find this, and then what is the volume? It's just substitution and you'll get the answer over here. Very simple. What about the volume? Volume is very simple. It's the base times the height. Height is given here. So it'll be whatever the base you found out multiplied by the height is 2. The values here, the units, it's always in terms of cubic. It's centimeters, so centimeter cube, and over here it'll be centimeters squared. Surface area is area, so it'll be squared. Now I'll substitute this first part. It is 9.6 times h. H is 2. So this must be the base, and this is the height. Okay, so this is it. Now we need to plus 2 times what is b. Let's use our calculators and solve. Half base, that is 1 by 2 times 2.4 times 3.2. And here we go, the answer is 3.84. Let me write it over here, 3.84. So it is 2 times multiplied by 3.84. Even the volume will be 3.84 times 2. We can easily find the volume. I'll just multiply this by 2. That is 7.68 centimeter cubed. And they do not, okay, they have told nearest hundredth, I believe. Now, what about this one? It's 9.6 times 2 plus 2 times. This 2 is the height, okay? This 2 is a constant here in the next part. 3.84. And here we go, it's 26.88. 26.88. This is the surface area and the volume. Yeah, they have told nearest tenth. You can write it in, I mean, you can find the answer like this, but then the options will be nearest tenth only. So S will be equal to 26.9 because 88 corresponds to 9. This is centimeters squared. Volume will be 7.7 centimeter cubed because 68 corresponds to 7. That's the answers. We have found the same answers over here for P and B, and then you need to find the surface area 26.9 and 7.7 for volume. Depending on the shape, we solve these. Here we have a cylinder. In fact, cylinder, right, is pretty easy. Why? Because if you just remember the formula, that's it. The surface area for the cylinder is given as 2 pi r h. Now, how I remember is, I remember the outer surface, this inner, I mean the mid part, you know, the hollow mid part. That is circumference times the height. So 2 pi r h plus the top and the bottom lids, you know, you can say that is pi r squared, but there are two of them, pi r squared. That's how I remember. You don't need to memorize it. If you understand the figures, the shapes, then you can understand this as well. So what is the surface area? It's 2 pi. R is given as the radius 6 inches. 6 times the height is 13 inches plus 2 pi and 6 squared. Just put that in the calculator, you get the answer. Now what about the volume? Volume is pretty easy. It's the area. Pi r squared is the area and multiplied by the height. That's it. Here we go. Volume will be pi into 6 squared times the height is 13 inches. Now whatever the answer you get will be in inches cubed, and here it will be inches squared. Now since it's in the MCQ, you have 4 options. You can easily figure out the correct units. Let's put these all in the calculator. 2 pi, that is shift and the symbol here, times 6 times 13 plus 2 pi. Sorry, it's to shift and the symbol, use your pi, times 6 squared. Now it's 228 pi, but remember we have to round it off the nearest tenth, they are told. So 716.3 because 28 corresponds to 3. What about this one here? It's just pi, shift and the symbol. R square is 6 square times 13. It's 140.3. Sorry, not 140, 1470.3 inches cubed. So that'll be the answers. It's very simple. Here we go. These are the correct answers. So here, if you get cylinder, inches, the radius and the height must be given, or they might give you the diameter. Instead of this inches, they might give you in the exam, say 12. You need to find r is equal to d by 2, that is r will be 12 by 2, that is half of 12, it's 6. This is how you find it. Whatever is the diameter, just divide by 2. Imagine the diameter was 20, divided by 2, the radius will be 10. And then use the formulas. And we have a pyramid here. Now pyramid and prism are similar. We have done already the prism. For here, we need first perimeter, p value. What is the perimeter? It's a square. See, you can see 16, 16. So it's very easy. Squared perimeter is 4 times 16. And what about the volume? Volume will be, sorry, not volume. First, we need to do B. That is the base area of the base. It is 16 squared. And then what else? We need to know the surface area. Surface area is given as half because it's pyramid, right? It's not the same base on the top as well, so it will be reduced than the prism. Whatever is the prism, reduce it by 2 for surface area. So reduce it by half, sorry, not 2. That is, divide by 2. PL plus B, this is the surface area formula. We'll have to substitute here. Whatever we get over here, we'll substitute it over there. And what about the volume? It's 1/3 B into H. What is the height? Now, I have done one mistake. Yeah, it's proper. I thought I wrote over here H. It is L. What is L here? L is along the side, over here, along the side, whatever is there, 90 degrees. Yes, this is L. And whatever is at the center of the base is the H value. So here H is 15. So 1/3 times whatever the B value times 15. And here, whatever the P value times 17 plus whatever is the B value. So let us solve it in the calculators. Let us solve. What is P? 4 times 16, that is equal to 64. What is 16 squared? That is 256. So here the B value is 256 and here we had 64. 32 times 2 is 64, yes. So P value over here is 64 times 17 plus 256. And here it is also 256 times 15. So let's put it in the calculator. 0.5 or half is same, times 64 times 17 plus 256. The answer is 800 for surface area. Here the units are feet, so it'll be 800 feet squared. What about the volume? It'll just be 256 times 15 divided by 3. Or you can just write multiplied by 1/3. Write it as the formula itself. It's 1280 feet cube. 1280. This is 2 feet power 3. That is feet cubed. And here we go. That's the answers. First, we have to find the P perimeter base. That's the area of the base. And then the surface area 800 and 1280. Here we will study about three-dimensional figures. We will study how to find their surface area and volume. We have prism, pyramid, cylinder, cone, and sphere. It is very important to remember these formulas, and I'll try my best to simplify as much as possible. You need to know what type of prism it is, whether it's a rectangular prism or a triangular prism. Here we can see it's rectangular. So this P is the perimeter of the base. This base is there, right? That perimeter, it will be length into breadth, length into width, or length into breadth. What about this B value? That is the area of this base. The same base, the area. Imagine we had here 2 and over here 6. Then the P value would be perimeter, that is 2 times L plus 2 times W, that is 2 times 6 plus 2 times 2. The answer would be 12 plus 4. 16 is the P value. And what about the B value? That's the area. You just multiply these both. 6 times 12, 6 times 2 is equal to 12. That is the B value. P and B value. This is how you find it out. What about the H? H is the height that will be given to you. Volume over here is the area of the base times the height. Now, if you remember this, then the pyramid is similar. Look here. Just divide both the sides by half, because here the base is the similar one, but as it goes up, it reduces its area. So you divide it by 2 on both the sides. So it'll be, here it is not about the height because it's the slanted length, right? That is into consideration. The slant L is the length, this length. One of the length will be given to you. But very important thing, it must be 90 degrees with the base. See, this base, this length, right, is 90 degrees with the base. What about P? P is the same thing. It will be the perimeter of the base. Here it is a rectangular or square base, depending on the shape. You have to find the perimeter. B will be the area of the base. About volume, just divide by 3 here. So it's 1/3 of base into height. Prism and pyramid are similar to each other. Now, similarly, the cone and cylinder are similar to each other. You can see it's having the same circle, but this is going down. Over here, it's flat. So, cylinder and prism are similar. They have same base up and down, whereas cone and pyramid do not have the same base. Here as well, you will just divide this by thirds. The volume, whatever you have with the cylinder, you're dividing by 3. And what about this? You're dividing by 2 above. Now first let's see what is cylinder. Pi is involved because circle is there. How do you remember this is? See, this first part 2 pi RH is of the cylinder over here, this entire length. So 2 pi r, 2 pi r is the circumference right over here, and multiply by the height is all these cross sections are included. So that's the surface area of this entire thing. Okay, sorry, not all the cross sections, that will be the area. All this is included. That is just the first part. Then here, pi r squared, we need the surface area, we need the upper cover and the bottom cover. It's a circle, so it's pi r squared area, right? But there is up and down, so it's 2 pi r squared. That's why we have this part. What about the volume? What is the area here? Pi r squared multiplied by the height, you get all the cross sections throughout the cylinder, however long it is. So that's how we have the volume pi r squared h and 2 pi r h plus pi r square is the surface area. Here you just divide this by 2 and 2, you get pi r. Now remember, here it's not the height, not the vertical height, it's the L value we deal with. And then pi r square, 2 is gone. Same thing here, 1/3. And lastly, the sphere. If you remember the surface area, it's 4 pi r squared. Okay, 4 pi r squared. The volume will be this divided by 3 multiplied by r. So 1 r is extra, it will be pi r cubed. See, volume is always cubed, right? So we have r cubed. Over here, sphere is surface area is area squared, centimeter. Imagine it was centimeter, it will be centimeter squared. Here it will be centimeter cubed. So r squared, r cubed. What about this? It's 4 pi for sphere, the surface area, whereas volume it's 4 by 3 pi. So this is how we can understand the formulas. Here we have a rectangular prism and the base is 5 and 2. So let's find the perimeter. P is equal to 2 times length plus 2 times width. All you need to do is 2 times 5 plus 2 times 2. The answer will be 10 plus 4, that is 14. And once the perimeter is done, you have to find the base, area of the base, sorry. That is length into width. That will be 5 times 2, it's 10. Now this is an inch. Area of the base will be inches squared. Here also it's inches. Once the P and B are found out, surface area is easily given as P times H plus 2 times B. Don't forget the formula. Here all we need to do is P is the perimeter of the base, that is 14 times, what is the height, that is 6, plus 2 times base, that is B is the area of the base, that's 10. So here 14 times 6 is 70, 84. 84 plus 20 will be 9404 inches squared. What about the volume? Volume is just B and H, which is very simple. B is 10 times 6. It's 60 inches cubed. That's the answers. So here we go. P, B, then we can find the surface area and the volume. P and B are 14 and 10. And then the surface area was 104 inches squared and volume is 60 inches cubed. Here we have a cone. You can see this is the shape of cone. So what are the formulas of cone? Cone and cylinder are similar. It's divided by 2 for whatever is there for cylinder. So let me write out the formula. S over here is 2 pi r. It is 2 pi RH for the cylinder. I got confused. You should just remove this 2. Okay. And remember, in the cone, there is no H. It is L over here. There is H value, but we write it as L in this case. Plus pi r squared. That's it. There's no 2 here. That's the surface area. And let me write the volume as well. Volume is pi r square h, and it's 1/3. This is the answer. This is the formulas. Now let's substitute. Pi r is given as, see, the diameter is 10. What is the radius? It will be phi times L is the slant length, that is 13, plus pi into phi squared. What about the volume? It's 1/3 pi. R is phi squared times h is the vertical height, that is 12. You just put in the calculators and you will get the answers. Here, these are simple. Why? Because there is no need of finding the p value or b value. It's directly the formula and substitution. Here is pi. Pi is given by shift and into 10th power symbol, multiplied with 5 times 13, plus again pi times 25 or 5 squared. Now here we have to get it to the nearest tenth, so the answer is 282.7. What about the volume? It's again here, it's 1/3, 1/3 times pi, that's shifting over here, times phi squared times the h value, that is 12. That's 100 pi, that's 3.14, 314.16. And here we go, the answers are here. Now what mistake I did was I didn't round it off to the nearest tenth here. 16 will be 2, and the units are yards squared here and yards cubed here. So that'll be the final answers. Pretty simple. And the last one here we have sphere. Again, sphere is one of the easiest because you have only r in this. It is 4 pi r squared, because this is surface area, you can't have power 3. Whereas for volume, it is 4/3 pi r cubed. That's it. You just substitute here 4 pi. Now what is this? This is the radius. It's given as 1.8 squared, and volume is given as 4/3 pi into 1.8 cubed. And you just put it in the calculator, you will get the answer here. 4 pi is by shift and into 10 power symbol, multiplied by 1.8 squared. The answer is, to the nearest tenth, 40.7. And it will be centimeter square, because it's centimeter, given radius is in terms of centimeter. Now this one here will be just 4 divided by, or you can just write 1/3. I'm just going to write 1 divided by 3. That's the extra term. And don't forget, I have to make this power 3. It's very easy to remember that formula. And here we go. The answer is 24.4 here. 24.4 centimeter cubed. You can see r to the power 3, so centimeter will be power 3. Over here it's only power 2. That's the answers. Very straightforward problem. Just remember the formulas and then they can easily be solved. In this video, we will see how to solve for the perimeter and areas of two-dimensional figures. Here are the formulas. This is a triangle. The perimeter is given by the sum of the sides, the outer sides. Imagine the covering, like a skin, you know, the outside thing. C, D, and D is the perimeter, whereas the area is not any of the slant height, whereas the vertical height, the 90 degree, the height, the line which makes 90 degree with the base, half times base into height. Whereas square, all the sides are equal, isn't it? So to find the sum of all the 4, you just multiply any one side. And if you know one side it's enough, you just multiply it by itself or take the square of it. That's the area. The rectangles have their opposite sides equal. Here L and L is equal, W width and width is equal. So it'll be 2 times W plus 2 times the length. That'll be the perimeter. That's the sum of all the outside sides. Whereas the area is just multiplication of the 2 adjacent sides. It can't be opposite sides. If this is 10 and this is 5, you have to multiply 2 and 5, the corresponding, the adjacent next to each other, those 2 sides. If I take W, I can take either up or down. I can't take the opposite side. And lastly, the circle, pi is very important. Here, the area is given as pi r squared. Pi times the radius squared. Whereas the circumference is given in 2 ways. It's either in diameter or the radius. If the diameter is known, You can just multiply pi with the diameter, you get the circumference. And what about this r? If the radius is known, you have to do pi r and multiply 2 because it's 2 times pi r. Pi, in fact, was found from circles itself, from this formula itself. The diameter is equal to c divided by pi. So just remember these formulas and now we will solve these problems. Here you can see the figure is given. The coordinate points, the points are also given. It's a triangle. There are different ways to solve for the perimeter. First, let's do the perimeter. You need to find the sum of all the three sides. This is easy to find. It's 1 to 9. If you count it out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This height is 8. What about this? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Very simple. But what about this slant height? There are two ways to find it. One is by the distance formula, but now first one will be, the easier method will be, look at this, it's 90 degrees and this is the hypotenuse. I'll take it as x. So what happens is the opposite to 90 degrees hypotenuse, the square of it is equal to the sum of the other two sides, square of sum of other two sides. 8 squared plus 4 squared. So x is equal to the square root of 8 squared plus 4 squared, and x is equal to 8 squared is 64 plus 16, 64, 74, 80. So it's square root of 80. That's the answer for x, the slanted side. Another way is from the distance formula. Sometimes you cannot use this. There won't be 90 degrees. So you have to know the distance formula as well. So the distance formula is given as the square root of x2 minus x1 the whole squared plus y2 minus y1 the whole squared. Here you can choose any point as x1, y1. I'll just take this as x1, this as y1. The other one will become x2 and y2. If I take this 4 and 9 as x1, y1, absolutely you can. The other one will be x2, y2. Now the distance, substitute the formulas, the values of x2 and x1. It's 4 minus 0 the whole squared plus y2 is 9 minus 1 the whole squared. D will be equal to the square root of 4 minus 0 is 4 squared plus 8. 9 minus 1 is 8, 8 squared. And it's the same thing. Here we got 8 squared plus 4 squared. Here also the same thing. It'll be root of 80. So that's the answers. That's the way we can find the slanted height. Now the perimeter is sum of all the sides. It's 8 plus 4 plus square root 80. Just put in the calculator, you'll get the answer. It's 12 and square root plus square root 80. What about the area? It's half base into height, that is half multiplied by, what is the base? It's 4 multiplied by the height is 8. So this will be 2 times, it's 16, that will be the answer. So this is how we solve it. We need to use our calculators for the perimeter. In the question they mentioned round your answers to nearest tenth. So I can't leave it in fraction or radical form. It's 8 plus 4 plus square root 80. The answer is 20.94. Make sure you don't multiply this. Sometimes, you tend to just put the square root. This will be an entirely different answer. It's 43 here, but actually it's plus. Add the three sides. The answer is 20.94. Nearest tenth would be 9. So 20.9. Why do we do nearest 10? Why do we do only one decimal point? Because they have told nearest 10. 10 has only one zero, so it's one digit after the decimal point. It should be 20.9 and 16. That will be the final answers. You can see here it's 20.9 centimeters because they have not mentioned it. We can take, okay, they have already mentioned over here in the question, 1 centimeter. And then we have 16, that is centimeters squared for the area. How do we solve this one? Again, it's the same similar method, but here we have to use distance formula. Don't do all the 4 sides. Just find any 2 sides. See, distance formula is pretty simple. We have done problems based on that. X2 minus x1, y2 minus y1. But I'll use some other methods here. See here, this one, if you draw a vertical line and a horizontal line, this is 90-degree, then I can use Pythagoras theorem. What is the height here? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 squared plus, what is the distance here? It's 2 squared. So the distance of BC would be equal to square root of 4 squared plus 2 squared. That is 4 squared 16 plus, it's square root 20. What about the other side? CD. That is also, if I draw a straight line here and this line, it's 3 square root of 3 squared plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 squared. So 36 plus 9, 45 square root. Now what do? We have to find the perimeter. We know the sides and the area. So perimeter will be equal to 2 times square root 20 plus 2 times square root 45. That's the formula for a rectangular perimeter. Area is just 20 times 45. You just multiply the two sides, two adjacent sides. Let's use our calculators and find it at nearest tenth. First, let's find the perimeter. 2 times square root 20 plus, you need to add the, the formula is 2L plus 2W. So you just use the formula here, 2 times square root 45. And the answer is 20.4, 22.4. 36 makes it 4. Let's check the perimeter first. Here it is 20.4 nearest tenth. What about the area? You just have to multiply it, square root 20 times square root 45. This is it. The answer is 30. It's 30 centimeters squared. So choose the answers with correct options and the units as well. How about this one? Here now, look, we have to use the distance formula. There is no way you can estimate this. This is at the center, yes, but this is not touching the base. If you consider this to be 1, 2, 3, then it's a wrong. It's not 3. So here we have to find the distance between these 2 points and then find the radius. There is one way you can consider this to be 3 and then approximate it a little less than 3 and then see which is the correct option, because it's the choices will be there. But let's do the accurate method here. So the radius will be given as square root of, we'll take this as x1, y1, and then this will be x2, y2. Or I can do the other way around as well. Here it'll be 4 minus, I'm not going to write the formula, it's x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. Here then 1 minus 3 the whole square. You can just put that in the calculator, you will get the answer. It's 2 square plus minus 2 the whole square. So it's going to be 4 plus 4 square root 8. Square root 8 is very close to 3 but a little less than that. So that's the radius. Now the perimeter is given as 2 pi, radius is over here. Area is pi r square, that is square root 8 whole square. So the square root cancels, it's 8 pi, but we need to find it to the nearest 10, so let's use our calculators. Here we have 2 times pi is shift and the symbol here times the radius is given as square root 8, and 17.8 would be the answer, the perimeter, 17.8. What about the area? Here it's the same thing, just you have to square it up. It's better to use brackets. Now 8 pi, but press SD, you will get the answer. It's 25.1. Yes, that's correct. Similarly, please do the other problems. You have to find the distance between these 2 points first. Then once you find the distance, you just have to put in the formula and get the answers. This is a square. Now, it looks like a square and we can't just conclude it is a square. So this you can tell yes, because it's at the center, it's easy to understand. Yes, that's absolutely a square. But what if it was moved something, it was not very accurate? So better to find two sides. Okay, but in this case, just find the distance of one side, it's fine. It is a square and then you'll get the answer. There is a easier way. This is 2 and this is 2. So I can use Pythagoras theorem. Square root of 2 squared plus 2 squared is 4 plus 4 square root 8. That is how I can find this side of one of the square, and then 4 times square root 8 over here, put in the calculator then, and then square of the side, square root 8 would give you the answer. That's 8 centimeters square. And here we have another triangle. Now this one is pretty easy because it's all at the center, so you can use Pythagoras theorem directly. It is, the side will be 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. It will be 4 square plus 4 square AC, that is equal to 16 plus 16, that's square root 32. What about this side, B and A? BA will be equal to the square root of, this is 2 and this is 4, 4 squared plus 2 squared. BA is equal to 16 plus 4 is square root 20. Now once you know these sides, you can easily find the perimeter. That's square root 32 plus square root 20 plus 1 2 3 4 5 6. This is 6. This is square root 32. This is square root 20. What about the vertical height? It is 1 2 3 4. So it is half times 6 times 4. That would be the area. Perimeter is just finding the sum. Let's do it over here. It's square root 32. Go next, plus square root 20 plus 6. And 16.1 is the answer. Over here we can see that's the perimeter, 16.1 centimeter. The area is 0.5 or half into 6 times 4. That is 3 times 4, 12. So if you know the formulas, then easily you can solve these problems. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. In this video, we will solve real world problems on substitution. Since it's the electronic part of your exam, we will just write the equations and then solve it in the calculator directly. It's about tree preservation over here. A town ordinance defines an adult tree as having a diameter greater than 10 inches and a sapling as having a diameter less than 10 inches. So if it's greater than 10 inches, it's an adult tree, whereas otherwise it's a sapling. The ordinance requires that on a new building project, 2 new trees are planted for each adult tree felled and 6 new trees are planted for each sapling felled. Felled is cut down. Ordinance is like a committee which will decide some certain basic laws and stuff like that. Last year, there were 167 trees felled and the community planted 742 replacement trees. How many of each type of trees were felled? Now the thing is, last year so many trees were felled, but we don't know which type, whether it was adult tree or saplings. Now we will write the equations. Before that, we will think adult tree, let's give it as A, and the saplings will give it as S. So we know when we add A and S, last year 167 trees were felled. So this was the equation for last year. That's one equation. But we need system of equation, at least 2, and then only we can solve for 2 variables. Here, if you look carefully, they have told ordinance requires that on new building project, 2 new trees are planted for each adult tree felled. So 2A plus 6 new trees are planted for each sapling felled. So 6 new trees for each sapling. And last year, how many replacements were done? 742 in total. So these are the 2 equations. You basically just solve them up in the calculator. You'll get the answer. Let's take our calculators. Here, all you need to do is mod phi and 1 for 2 variable equations. That's mod phi 1. Type in the coefficient. Is there anything before A? Nothing means it's 1. Even S doesn't have anything. And then it's 167. What about the next equation? It's 2, 6, and 742. The answer is 65 and 102. So there were 65 adult trees felled and 102 saplings. So these are the 2 equations which you got. Once you get these equations, you can do the substitution method, or in the calculator, we get 65 and 102. So 65 were adult trees, 102 saplings were felled. Let's look at this problem. Harvey has some $1 bills and some $5 bills. So he has notes. like $1. Some of them are $1 here, and some of them are $5. Okay, the 5 must be bigger, to be honest. Anyways, these are all $5. Just imagine, we don't know exactly how many he has. In all, he has 6 bills worth $22. Let's see whether it's correct. Okay, I did this out of sheer randomness. I had no clue about this. I didn't even read there were 6 bills. But this is the exact way. He has two $1 and four $5 bills. I really did it in random. I'm only surprised by myself because I didn't even read this part of the question. I drew just bills. But anyways, so he has 6 bills. The total worth is $22. Now we know over here, because I randomly did it, if he added it's $22 itself. So he has four $5 bills and two $1 bills. But imagine we take X as the $1 bills and Y as the $5 bills. Write a system of equations. How do you write the equations, systems of equation? So X plus Y, that is $1 bills and $5 bills. How many he has? 6. Now let's see how much money is it worth. Total is 22, right? How much is Y? It is $5. So 5Y, and what is this? It's 1X. Because $1 bill is worth $1. $5 bills is worth $5. Let's type it in the calculator. Mod 5 and 1. Now the coefficients are 1, 1, and 6 over here, the first equation. Next one is 1, 5, and 22. So the answer is 2. That is, X is 2. How many $1 bills? X was $1 bills, 2 $1 bills, and 4 are $5 bills. So that's the answer. Yeah, these are the simultaneous equations which I've written, and then you need to solve them up. And here we go, it is 2 and 4. The next problem is an interesting problem. It's about reasoning. Shelby and Calvin are conducting an experiment in chemistry class. They need 5 milliliters of a solution that is 65% acid and 35% distilled water. Now, before we continue, imagine drink, the concentrated drink, say Vimto. You might have seen. Look at this. Imagine this bottle, Vimto bottle. What you do is, in a glass, you put about like 10% of this Vimto, and then you put water and you stir it up and it becomes a juice. So imagine this is the acid. You just put 10% of it, and remaining 90% will be water, and then that juice is drunk. That will be a proper nice juice. Similarly, for this particular solution, they want 65% of the acid. Imagine this one is required by 65% and water is just 35%. So that is the solution what they want. There is no undiluted acid in the chemistry lab, but they have to have 2 beakers of diluted acid. See, they have no undiluted acid. They have only 2 beakers with some dilution. See over here, the beaker 1 is 70% acid, 70% of acid, and the beaker 2 is only 20% of acid. So if 70% is acid, how much will be the water? Remaining 30%. That's not required. And beaker B has 20% of acid. We are focusing on the acid mainly. It's acid. That's 70% and 20%. Write a system of equation that Shelby and Calvin could use to determine how many milliliters they need to pour from each beaker to make their solution. Now there are 2 beakers, beaker A, beaker B. If you add them up, how much milliliters is required? They need 5 milliliters. That's the first basic equation. The next equation has to do with A and B. But how much acid is over here? 70%. And how much acid over here? 20%. That must be equal to how much acid is required actually. It is 65%. Okay? But now it's not just 65%. Percent of what? Of 5 ml. See over here, this 5 ml, right? Whatever is there, when you add these both 70 and 20%, 65% of 5 ml. These will be the 2 equations. But generally the percent is divided by 100. You can put it in the calculator and check what is the percent. You can directly write 70% as 0.7 or 70%. Shift and the symbol gives you 0.7, or you just have to do 70 divided by 100%, means divided by 100. That's 0.7. So here we can write 0.7a plus 0.2b. That will be equal to 0.65 times 5. You can multiply and write this as well. Here we have a plus b, and over, yeah, this is it. They might give you multiplied. What I mean is 0.65 times 5, 3.25 will be there. It may not be 0.65 times 5, it'll just be this answer. So that'll be the correct answer. Now to solve it, it's mod phi 1. The coefficients are 1, 1, 5. You can either put 70% like this, it'll automatically be considered as 0.7, or you can type it as 0.2, and here you can put it as 0.65 times 5, it'll automatically calculate it for you. The answer is 4.5 in beaker A and half in beaker 2. That's beaker B. So you can see the answer is, where is it? Over here. So part B is to find how many milliliters. We found out 4.5 in beaker A and 0.5 in beaker B. That is the answer. In this video, we will solve systems of equations. Here we have been given a two-variable system of equation. All you can do is just use your calculator and solve it up, because this is the electronic part. In the calculator, it is mod phi, and for two variable, it is 1. Now type in the coefficients of x, that is minus 1.38. And then press equal to, go to the next one, there's nothing, that means it's 1, but there's minus sign, so it's minus 1 here. And we have 5.13. 0.62 is the coefficient of x in the second equation. Then we have 2, and the constant term is 1.60, which is 1.6 itself. And the answer is, here if you press S, you get in decimal, minus 5.54, and another equation is 2.51. So we can see here the answers are minus 5.54 and 2.518 will become 2.52. Those are the answers. Now we have here the graphs given, and we have been told to find whether these are consistent, inconsistent, and how is the equation. So there are various ways. You can use the calculator, solve these into, simultaneous equations, and then, deduce it. But the best way is, because the graph is already given, see where is y is equal to x minus 1. This is the equation, this line. Y is equal to minus x plus 1. Y is equal to minus x plus 1 is over here. Look at, we just have to focus on this equation and this equation. They both touch over here. So they are consistent because there's a solution, and it's independent because they only touch at one point. That's the answer. It's consistent, independent, and there can be only one solution. Now, how can you check this out in the calculator? You need to write this in the standard form, x and y together. It will be minus x when we move this to the other side, plus y equals negative 1. And then we have x plus y equals 1. We just solve this in the calculator, and we will see. You need to press mod phi and 1. Type in the coefficients minus 1, 1, and minus 1. And for the next one, we have 1, 1, and 1. So the answer is x and y. You get a point. It is intersecting at 1 and 0. Yes, that's the point. That means it is only possible that it is consistent and independent whenever you have a solution in the calculator. And we have only one solution. That means a point they intersect. What about this one? Let me try in the calculator, and then let me look into the graphs. Here it's mod phi 1. Let's type the coefficients. That's 1, minus 1, and minus 4 here. What about the second equation? We need to write x to the other side. We have to take it over here. Always the first variable will be x, so it will be minus x or minus 1. Then y is positive and 4. The answer is infinite solution. That means it's supposed to be the same line. Where is x over here? X minus 4 equals minus. And this is y equals x plus 4. It's the same equation. That's why it's infinite solution. And therefore, it is consistent, but they are dependent on each other. So infinitely many solutions, consistent and dependent. What about this one here? Let's try mod phi 1. I'll take x to the other side. It'll be minus 1, 1 and 4. And here it is 2, minus 2 and positive 2. So the answer is no solution. That means they are parallel to each other. Let's check them out. The first equation, the line is this one. Where's the other line? This one. Can you see? Yes, they are parallel to each other. They are just going on the same, they're having the same slope but different y-intercepts. That means they'll never touch each other. Therefore, it's no solutions. What about, so okay, now if it's no solution, it's inconsistent. It cannot be consistent. What about the last one? Again, we can just press, because we are in the simultaneous equation, it will open up. Otherwise, you need to press mod phi 1 and you will get this option. Now it will be minus 2, 1, and that is equal to minus 3. Here we have 2, minus 2 and 2. It's 2 and 1. That means there's a solution. They are intersecting. It should be consistent, independent, but one solution. So you can see it's one solution, consistent, independent. Let's see, where are these lines? Y equals 2x minus 3 is this line here. And where's the other line? 2x minus 2x is over here. You can see at this point, it's at 2 and 1. They're intersecting. Yes, that's the correct answer. So this is how we can solve it from the graphs directly by observing, or even from the calculator, you can solve them and find the answers. In this video, we'll look into angle relationships. We have been told to find the measure of two supplementary angles if the difference between the measures of two angles are 35 degrees. Before we start, we need to remember what is supplementary and complementary. Now, how I remember is whenever I hear the word supplement, supplement is making something extra. You're taking in supplements to boost yourself. It's more. It's 180 degree. Whereas complement is lesser than 180. It's 90 degree. There are only two, 90 or 180. Many students get confused which is which. So supplement is making it more, isn't it? So that's why I call this supplement. In my mind, supplement is always more. It's 180, whereas complement is the lesser one than supplement. So it will be 90. Now here they have told we need to find two measures. Now, if imagine there is 30 degree as one measure, what is the other measure? If they are supplement, all you need to do is 180 degrees minus 30 degrees, that is 150 degrees. So the two angles would be 30 and 150 degree. They will make each other supplement, because supplementary means when you add them up, it should be 180. But now in this case, we have no clue what are the angles. But they have told they are supplementary. So imagine I take the first angle as x degrees. What will be the next angle? Next must be 180 degrees minus x, because I know the first angle is, if it was 30, it should be 180 minus 30. But I know it's x, so it's 180 degrees minus x degrees. That's the situation. But they have told one more thing. If the difference between the measures of the two angles, difference between the measures, so if you subtract them, what's going to happen? It is 35 degrees. So what I can do is x minus 180 minus x in the bracket will be equal to, if I see difference, subtract any one. You can do 180 minus or this minus, it's fine. The answer will be 35 degrees. That's the situation given. Now we will solve it up. You can just put in the calculator because it's the electronic part. I'll show you how you can directly put in the calculator here. The variable x is by alpha x minus, open the bracket, 180 minus x, close the bracket, equals 35. Sorry, it's not fraction, equals 35. Shift and solve, then press equal to. The answer is 107.5. How do you do manually? Let me do it over here. X minus 180 minus and minus will be plus x is equal to 35. When we take it to the other side, it's going to be positive. So x and x is 2x is equal to 180 plus 35. It's going to be 215, isn't it? Yes. Now 215, 7.5. So it's 107.5 is x. So if x is 107.5, what is the other angle? All you need to do is 180. So this is the other angle, 180 degrees minus x. That is 180 minus 107.5. So that should be 72.5 degrees. So the angles are 107.5 degrees and 72.5 degrees. So whichever option has these two angles, just select them. So here we go. That's the correct answers. 72.5 and 107.5. The next problem, it's similar, but it's just that they have told it is more than. We have to do sum. You can try them by yourselves, but I'm going to solve all of these here. E and F are complementary angles. So when you add them up, E and F, it must be equal to 90 degrees. Complement is less than supplement, that's 90 degrees. The measure of E is 54 degrees more than the measure of F. So if I take measure of F as X, what is E? E will be X measure 54 more. So E X plus 54 or 54 plus whatever is F. So these are the two situations. These are the two angles. Now we can write the sum of them. X plus 54 is equal to how much? Is 90 degrees, isn't it? So we'll solve it up. 2x will be equal to 54 goes to the other side. 90 minus 54. You can put it directly in the calculator and get the answer. That's absolutely fine. So here it's 630, 36. Here we have then 18x is 18 degrees. Now if x is 18, what is x exactly? One angle. What's the other angle? You need to add it by 54. So 18 plus 54 will be equal to 60, 72. And now there's another thing. Instead of doing by the adding part, you can just do 90 minus 18. You must get the other angle. 90 minus 18 is 72 itself. So 72 and 18 are the answers. Okay, now here there's one important thing. You just don't have to select any two. Very important to know. F is 18 because they've clearly mentioned E is 54 more than F, isn't it? So you can't write 18 to E. E must be 72, F must be 18 because they've clearly mentioned in the question E is more than F. So the smaller one will be F and E will be the greater one. Here they have told the measure of an angle supplement is 76 degrees less than the measure of the angle. Now let's take one angle as X. 76 degrees less than the measure of this angle. X minus 76 is the other angle. There are two. So what we do over here is we have to do X plus X minus 76. That is equal to how much? Supplement 180 degrees. So take it to the other side. It's going to be 180 plus 76. So it'll be 256 degrees, and here we have 2x. Here x, divide both the sides by 2x will be equal to 128. So we know one angle is 128, so you can just do 180 degrees minus 128. That'll give the other angle. It's 52 degrees. So one of the angle is 52 degrees, one more is 128 degrees. And you see the difference between them. The supplement, one less, x minus 78. So also you can do 128 minus 76, not 78, 76, and you will get the correct answer itself. Here they have told about complementary angles. The Q measure is 26 degree less than the measure of R. So I'm going to take R as X and Q is going to be X minus 26. So Q is 26 degree less than R. So whatever is R, it's going to be more. Q is going to be less. So we know it's complementary. So X plus X minus 26 is equal to 90. This goes to the other side, adds up, it will be 116. And 2x, x will be equal to 50 and 8. So it's 58 degrees. Now the remaining is 32. So this is the thing. Which is the lesser one? Q is lesser one, so Q will be 32 degrees, whereas R is going to be the greater one, 58 degrees. What happens here? The measure of the supplementary is given of an angle is 3 times the measure of the angle. So one is x, another one is 3x. So when you add them up, it's going to be 180 degrees, isn't it? So 4x is equal to 180 degrees. What's the value of x? Just divide both the sides by 4. Now this is going to be 45. X is 45. So the other one is going to be 45 times 135 degrees. Now steps are not required here, you can directly find the answers. Just use the calculator and you'll get it. And the last problem here, we have the picture. Let's see what it is. The bascule bridge shown is opening from the horizontal position to its fully vertical position. So far, the bridge has lifted 35 degrees. So this bridge, right, will fully open up eventually. But now, as of now, it's only 35 degrees opened up in 21 seconds. At this rate, how much longer will it take for the bridge to reach the vertical position? Here, vertical will be 90 degrees, isn't it? So it's something to do with complementary angles. So it's a simple, what is a comparison problem. In 35 degrees, it was 35 degrees opening took 21 seconds. What is the remaining angle? Total is 90. Vertically up front will be 90 degrees. 90 minus 35 will be 55 degrees. For the remaining 55 degrees, how much will be the time? That is x, I'll take it as. Cross multiply, you will get the answer. So here it will be 35 times x is equal to 55 times 21 seconds. So just put in the calculator, you will get the answer. You can either divide the product of these two, 55 times 21 divided by 35, or you can write it directly. Alpha x is equal to 55 times 21. It's 35, sorry, here I've written wrong. Shift solve and equal to, the answer is 33. Or if you do the right side only, don't press equal to here, no variable, just write it as 55 times 21 divided by, because this goes to the other side, it becomes divided by 35. The answer must be same. It's 33 degrees. So here we go. X is 33. Sorry, not 33 degrees. It's 33 seconds. So they have told the relationship between the angles. So much opening, 35 degrees, will take 21 seconds. So the remaining part of the angle is 55 degrees. How many seconds? It's just cross multiplication. Just, equate them as two relations and then cross multiply and you can solve them up. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot.